Hi, everybody. Welcome to Serenity Cards and Coaching. And this is the second week of our Technique series, our Technique Pop-Up Birthday series. So you can find me, you can find more information at lelameinke.com. You can find me on Facebook, Serenity Cards and Coaching. And super excited to be here with you today. So today is the second in a series of pop-ups with birthday cards. And as you can see, this month we're going to have a masculine card, and I'm really excited. Are you ready for the reveal? It's a pop-up series, so ba ba ba.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, ah. It's a bunch of birthday presents stacked up. So we're going to learn how to make this card front and back. And we've got a couple other, we have a total of 3 cards we're going to learn. Oops, here I am disassembling it off camera. So we're going to make this guy super sweet. I may have a little bit of different designer series paper. Now this country, what is it, Country Lane Bouquet, is for more than just Valentine's Day, right? So happy belated Valentine's. We just had Valentine's this week. But this paper is great for more than just Valentine's. As a matter of fact, this guy is a birthday card. So how sweet is that? Some people just love hearts. And I love hearts. And this would just be a really fun birthday card to give. So we're going to work on that one. And then the final one, you may remember we did this in one part last month. And so we're going to have kind of the same look and feel on the front. And that was the one, right? So this is a series. So month 1 was a single pop-up. Month 2 is double and triple. So we're going to take this guy and we're going to double him. We're going to have 2 different pop-ups that come out of him. And so we'll see that in a minute. So let's go ahead and get started. And I guess one more housekeeping thing I want to say is, if you choose to, you could follow along and create your own technique book. And for month 1, I've given free PDFs that have a table of contents. So here's the technique series: single pop-up, double, triple. Then we're going to do a double floating. Can't wait to do that one. And a stage. I've got some really cute ideas in mind for that. So you could make this technique book. We sell these binders, I think, for about $10. The inserts are, I don't know, $5 or $6. I give you the free PDF, you print it out, and then you can just put your instructions in a little pocket, and you can even have like working prototypes in there. Even the cutout is intended to be a working prototype. So you can expect that for all the series. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our first card today. So our first card today, we're going to go ahead and make the masculine card. And we are working finally with the He's All That bundle. And so if you haven't seen this, there's designer series paper that's fantastic. And then there's some great stamps and some great dies. So we're going to work with these. These are in the annual catalog. And I actually just got these dies a couple months ago. And oh my gosh, they're so great for masculine cards. So we're going to use these dies and we're going to use these stamps today. And of course, the accompanying designer series paper. Now, the cards that I'm going to show you today, you can get this kit for free. Of course, I can't stamp for you. You can get the kit free with a minimum purchase. I'm also doing this class in person, and these are all the ingredients that you get in the kit. So stay tuned for all the information on that. The PDF, if you're on my team, you get the PDF for free. And if you're if you want to buy it, you can get the PDF. So lots of options here, but let's just go ahead and get started. So the ingredients that you're going to need: you're going to need a cardstock base of Cajun Craze. That's just your normal cardstock base. You're also going to have a very vanilla insert, and I'm cutting it to, so this is cut to 8 1/4. So I cut off just a little 1/4 inch off the end by 5 1/4. So it's not the 5 1/2, it's 5 1/4. And why do we do that? We do that so once we get to the making of the insert, we can just glue it to the inside, and then it's going to fit very nicely. And it's we're not taking it all the way to the edges, and that's fine. It's just going to fit inside as a nice insert. So those are the two pieces that you're going to need. We're layering the cover, so let's go ahead and just get working on that. We've got early espresso, and that, of course, I take all my layers in, usually 1/4 inch in. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. This is early espresso, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on the front of the card. I don't have any fancy folds or anything going around, so I'm just going to go ahead and build all the layers. So that's 4 by 5 1/4, and then I've got Sahara Sand. So with the He's All That Sweet, I'm just letting Stampin' Up! Do the work for me. So they figured out all the colors that match: early espresso, Sahara Sand. First I thought that was crumb cake, but it's not. It's a little crumb cake's a little browner, and this might be a little bit grayer, I think. Well, a little sandier, right? Sahara Sand. So I'm just going to go ahead and build all my layers. I took that in 1/4 inch, so that would be 3 3/4 by 5. And then I took these guys in 1/4 inch, and I just kind of split the difference and cut them in half. So your pack is going to have different paper depending on, I just kind of mixed and matched papers, and that's how I make cards. So if you get the kit, or if you come to class, you may have a little, like some of them, I think I gave a large, like the camping pattern or whatever. It just looks great with all of them. And I just kind of grabbed one just to work with here. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this glued on, and then I will show you how, and it fits exactly. So I just, kind of split the difference. And now I want to show you how I did the ribbon. Now, if you guys don't know this ribbon, I forgot exactly the name of it. I will have that in the PDF. But this is, I've had this linen ribbon like for a year, and I haven't known exactly what to do with it. I got some inspiration on Pinterest, actually from a gentleman, Brian King, actually. I took some inspiration from him, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm making a guy card. Let's see what a guy did. So, you're going to get this full piece of ribbon, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you what I did. I put it on with tear and tape, and so I put tear and tape kind of down the middle, and then I adhered it, and I only put like the tear and tape in the middle, and then I did the snipping later once I kind of had everything adjusted and situated where I wanted. So I kind of wanted that piece there. I'm going to put another piece of tear and tape here. If you don't have tear and tape, it's absolutely a must. It works great with this ribbon. I don't always use tear and tape with ribbon, but I'm using it with this one. So we'll go ahead and get this lifted up. It's a little fussy. Fussy. Well, I hope you guys are having a good week. We had, you know what? I kind of took a hooky day yesterday, and I was organizing. I've got a ton of decorations and a ton of things I've inherited. And so I just took some time and just kind of organized, and it was really, really quite lovely. So, but I did that actually as a gift to my Valentine, because we had all these boxes everywhere, and I'm like, I promise. Now that I've got those kind of where I want, I'm just going to do a nice straight snip, and I've got some larger scissors. If you've got a nice large like sewing scissor, that's probably going to be what you want to use there. But if not, the snips are fine. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to do my angle right here. And I'm going to go a little bit longer on the outer edge, I guess. And there you have it. So that's just a fun way to work with this ribbon. Very quickly, I'll go ahead and get this stamped. I'm using the He's All That, and there's a bunch of different stamps, so we'll go ahead and use this guy. I've got my early espresso ink, and I re-inked him the other day. Now, so one thing I love, our colors all match, right? So this is early espresso ink, and I guess I hadn't used it in a while. So whenever you get our stamp pad, you're going to want to get the matching re-inker. There's a lot of things you can do with the re-inker, but first and foremost, the main purpose of the re-inker is when your ink pad goes dry, and it will, right? It's a liquid, it's going to go dry. Then you'll have it on hand and you can go ahead and re-ink. So there we have our stamp nicely. And I can build it from here. So I think I'm going to get to the inside of the card now. I just kind of wanted to show you how I did that ribbon. I put the rectangle there with dimensionals. I put that guy there with dimensionals. I give you a little dot in the middle. If you can see that rustic dot, it goes really nicely. So go ahead and assemble your front. And there you have it. I just wanted to show you how I worked with that ribbon. It's linen something and it's really nice. All right, so now I've got the rest of the pieces for my inside. And the rest of the pieces for my inside are as follows. I've got the very vanilla piece that I told you. I've got some scraps of paper. Now these are a variety of sizes and there's a variety of fronts and backs. So that when you build your gifts or when you build your stack of presents, you can kind of mix and match and do what you want. I've got a little bit of ribbon, I've got some die cuts, and I've got my stamp for the inside. So let's go ahead and get to it. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to stamp my sentiment, because if I don't have my sentiment right, then is this the one? No, the one that my sample is nice, but the very first one that I did, I overstamped. So I actually came in, and if you can tell, I cut around the edge of my stamp. There was some extra rubber and I just kind of cut around the edge. So I just want to make sure I have a good impression. I'm going to kind of do that off to the right. He stamped just fine, and so that's great. Now I can do the rest of what I want to do. All right, I probably should have done that after I cut, but anyway, that's okay. So let's get to the cutting. Let's get to the technique of what we're going to do. How do we build this birthday present stack? So I'm going to bring in my cutter, and I'm going to bring in my scoreboard, and I'm going to bring in, so of course this is all in a PDF and it's in better format, but I've got all the measurements here, so I'm just going to follow along with my own little cheat sheet. This is another sample, by the way. This is that paper we got at Bingo. That would make a nice color combination too. But if you can see, I mean, I'll just kind of talk you through it. The first stack is 1 1/4 inch high. The second stack is 1 inch high, and the third stack is 3/4 inch high. So we want to have our presents so that they're sequentially getting smaller and getting narrower. And so that's the first thing to keep in mind. So I'm going to take my very vanilla. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to assume that the bottom of my presents are going to go here, and I'm going to make a mark at the 1 1/4 inch line, because I want my presents, I want my first cut at the 1 1/4 inch. So I just put my pencil in that little groove right there, and I'm making a tick mark. Now I want to add 1 inch. Don't make the mistake that I had, which was just go to the 2 inches. No, I want to add a full inch. So a full inch from 1 1/4, that's going to take me to 2 1/4. That's going to give me a distance of 1 inch right there. So I'm going to cut right there. Now I want to have 3/4. And so 3/4, these, if you can see, kind of the longer lines are the 1/4 inch. There's a total of 8 in between. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. That's going to take me to the 3 inch mark. So I know that I want to cut at 1 1/4. I want to cut at 2 1/4, and I want to cut at 3. So when I cut, it's going to look 1 1/4 and 1 inch there, and then 3/4 inch there. So step by step, let's get there. So I've done that, and I know that that's going to match, right? My presents are going to be there. I shouldn't have stamped first, but I should have stamped after the cutting and before the gluing. But anyway, I did. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to work from longest to shortest. So I've got, if you can see my cutting track, there's a lot of tracks right here. My cutting track is right here. So I'm gonna put my notch right on the cutting track. And I'm going to come down 1/4 of an inch. And the way that I know I'm going to come down 1/4 of an inch is because I have rulers on this side. So if you can see it, there's, let's see, like there's a 1 inch. I don't know, you can't see it very well, but it's kind of blurry. But anyway, that's 1 inch, that's 2 inch, etc. I want to come down on my cut mark 1 1/4 inch. So you know what I do? I bring my blade to the 1 1/4, and it stays pretty well, but I'm going to hold it with my hand anyway. So I'm going to flip that over. He stays pretty well. And then I'm going to go ahead and line that up right in the cutting track. I'm going to do a firm press so that my track, so that this ruler piece locks, the guide, I guess. And then I'm going to go straight up and I'm going to come back down and I'm going to look on this side. I know you can't see it. I'm not exactly at 1 1/4. So I'm going to look at the side and there I am. And actually I went 1 1/2. So magic of television, I'm going to have to go to a little longer for what we do. All right, now I'm moving over to the next track. So I put my pencil mark right where the cut mark is. And for this guy, I want to come down 1 inch. So I'm going to come down 1 inch. I could have started my blade at the 1 inch or not, but anyway, I'm going to come down. I can see on the side right there that I'm at 1 inch. You guys, mine's going to be a little off scale because my one cut, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll just score at the right place. Okay. All right, now I'm moving it one more over. I've got the track lined up at the 3/4 inch, and I'm going to come down 3/4 inch. So I came down 3/4 inch, and I just want to show you on this side. I hope you can see it. On the side of the blade, there is a little like line, and you can line it up with the ruler. So anyway, if you want to take a look at your own trimmer, you can follow along with that and you can see that. So now I've got everything done and I've got all the cutting done. And if you'll give me grace, because I went to go to the 1/4 inch mark and I went to the 1/2 inch mark, so you'll just forgive that. But now you can see where the cuts are, that they gradually go. They're 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch, and they kind of go out like a Christmas tree, if you will. So that's the first part. Now we need to score it. So ultimately where we're headed is we're going to get a score like this. And so I go ahead and I just kind of line this up in here snug, and I start here and I go on the, like at the end of the line, and I just kind of get it in a groove and I go down. And then I go the end of the line, and I'm going to use the smaller end. I go the end of the line, I get it in a groove, and I go down. Then same thing here, end of the line, get it in a groove, I go down, end of the line, get it in a groove, and I go down. Now here, I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna go to the end of the cut line because I made that boo-boo, so just pretend I had only cut till there. So I've got my scores. Now I'm gonna fold, and I'm gonna fold, and I'm gonna kind of work with the paper, just because what I want to do is I want to have it go in there and out there. So I'm gonna kind of hold that crease, and then I'm gonna hold that crease, and I'm gonna hold that crease. Now I realized I must have had a little ink on my hand, so I got a little, you can't see it, but it's a great opportunity to add a little embellishment there if you get a little bit of a boo-boo as you're doing this, but you want to make sure your hands are perfectly clean and you don't have ink. on your hand. So that was my bad. Let's just get that clean. So now you want to just nudge and fold just like that. And you want to crease your marks in, and there you go. So now we've got the construction in place. And I want to give a good kind of burnish everywhere. And now we're going to get the presents decorated. So it's at this point that I would stamp. Then you don't have the risk of having ink all over your hands and etc. It's at this point that I would kind of do a nice crisp stamp there. Now we're going to kind of decorate the gifts. So I gave you a number of different pieces of designer series paper inside. And I think what I want to do is put that guy in the middle. I'll put that guy on the top. And I'll put that guy on the bottom. All right. So I'm going to go with kind of this pattern. I want a little bit of each color. What you want to do from here is you want to cut a piece of designer paper that's going to fit between that crease and that crease. You want one continuous piece all the way. And so you know it's going to be 3/4 that way because we know it's 3/4 that way. And then you know it's going to be 3/4 out that way, 3/4 out that way. So it's going to be 1.5. So in the PDF, I give you that measurement. But if you want it here, you're going to go 3/4 by 1.5 for this first piece. So I'm just going to cut that to 3/4 by 1.5. And so I just line it up. When I'm doing 3/4, I like to use the kind of outside cut line. So I'm just going to do 3/4 and I'm going to do 1.5. And then I'm going to glue it in. You guys, I don't have experience taping it because I don't know about taping it. So I'm going to glue it in. But before I glue it in, I want to tell you, I'm going to come over and have a look at it. I don't want the piece to go beyond the creased edges. I have done it beyond the creased edges, and I mean, this one's really good. As a matter of fact, if anything, it kind of came in a bit, and I'm happier with it being a little bit smaller inside the rectangle. If you get too big outside the rectangle, it just doesn't lay well. So you may need, depending on how perfect you were with your cutting and your scoring and with your everything, you may need to come in. I'm just going to start shaving off basically a 1/16 at a time. So I'm just going to kind of come in and I'm going to fine tune my designer series paper so I get it just how I want. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that guy in. And then we're going to do the next one. And the next one is, now he's not scored, so you can take a moment and kind of score it now. You can take a moment and kind of fold it over and make sure that it's going to fold. And see, that's what I mean by that extra little line there. But anyway, just score it and let it start to settle. So that's that guy. And then we'll start to cut the next guy. That's what I mean by that little piece coming over. So it just is, just glue him down. He'll be fine. All right, now I'm going to do my next piece. We know that this guy is 1 inch long and we know that he's 2 inches wide. So we're going to do 1 inch by 2 inches. So I'm going to do 2 inches and I'm going to do 1 inch. And all of this is very spelled out, very specific in the PDF. I have a couple different PDFs. You can always come back and ever rewatch the video. Right now I'm gonna, I didn't take a look at it ahead of time, so it'll be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and, great, he fits perfectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that guy right there. And now same thing, I'm gonna fold it over. Just make sure it's got a good fold. I do my folds back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I'm kind of doing it this way so that it gets a fold, and then I'm going to come back in and do it the other way so it gets a fold. So, so there we go. Now we'll let him get kind of settled in. And now we'll do the final piece. And the final piece, we know that he is 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. And we know that I made a little boo-boo because I cut a little bit too long. So I'm just going to see what this size is right here. Yeah, that's the 2 1/2. So 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. So I'm going to cut this guy at 1 1/4. I like to mix and match the different colors. I mean, Stampin' Up! Does all the work for us by, you know, putting the color palettes together. Oh, I think I did that too short. I think I did 2 1/4. All righty. Ah, well, we're just going to do it shorter. You guys. All right, so now this guy's going to go here. You wanted him at 2 1/2 by 1 1/4. We're going to put that guy right there. And I'm just going to fold. I promise you, once you like do it a couple times and when you're not on TV, it's a really fun fold and it's really kind of cool to do. So, and it's got such a wow. Like we were doing these together last month for just the single ones. And it, when you get it, actually one of the cards I gave Bob one of the pop-ups, and even Bob, and he's seen me make a ton of cards. He was like, wow, that's really cool. It just opens and it just pops and it's really cool. So, so get everything situated and get everything glued down. And now you guys, that is our stack of birthday presents. But we're not done. We can further add a little bit. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get it inside of the card base on the left half. So I'm going to get it inside of the card base. I'm not going to do both sides. And here's how I'm going to do it. Of course, I don't want to glue where I've done all my scoring. So I'm going to glue everywhere except for where the scoring is. And I'm going to go ahead and hold it carefully. So I'm going to put it nice and snug right there. And I'm going to hold it in the areas where there's not glue. And I'm going to make sure it's lined up right. And I'm going to make sure it's in. I'm going to go ahead and burnish it. And now the one side is in. And before we add all the bows and the ribbons, etc., we just want to make sure we've got the one side in. So the one side is in. I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I have ever had it lined up perfectly on all 4 sides. And I really don't think people are going to be looking that either. So I might, I mean, if you're got an eagle eye, you might notice it's a little bit thinner here and a little bit thicker here. I don't think anybody looks. I think they're going to open it up and they're going to see a stack of presents. So from here, we can just very simply do a few things. The first thing I'm going to do, you get a nice piece of twine. And so you can go ahead and put the twine in. I like the twine in the middle. And so I put the twine, you know, you might even be able to get a couple out of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and tie a nice little bow right here. I'm doing this before I've glued the other side down so that I can just have the freedom with my hands, etc. So you can tie a little bow right there and cut off the little extras, and he's just kind of fun. We can secure it down with a glue dot if you want, but that's right there. And then I'll cut off some of that extra. Then these guys, so now these are die cuts that come in the He's the Man, and they look great. Like if you just put them maybe below this right here, they might look great, but I'm going to use them as kind of gift wrapping. So you get 2 dies with the with the, you get two at the same time. So you can roll them both through at the same time. And I'm going to go ahead and secure one on this side facing that way. I'm going to secure one on this side facing this way. And this is one reason that I wanted that paper free as well, is I wanted to be able to come in with my snips and kind of cut off the extra. So you can do it from the front, or I'm just going to do it from the front. I'm just going to, from the front, I'm going to cut off the little extra now that I know the right length. And over here, I'm going to cut off a little extra now that I know the right length. And there you go. Our stack of presents is starting to emerge. So I can line those up because it's glue. I've moved it around a little bit. Oh, this guy came off. Oh, I cut him. Anyway, gosh, you guys, humble fingers today. Alrighty. So, and then the final one you want to add on is you want to add on this little bow. And so, so this bow is from Cottage Wreaths, and I kind of fold him there and I fold him there, and then he's got a place for a dot in the middle, a glue dot in the middle. So I'm going to put a glue dot on him. I'm going to put the glue dot right in the middle. So I've taken my roll and I've just kind of taken my cottage wreath die and I have my glue dot right in the middle. I'm going to put him right there. And then he just kind of like opens like that. So then when I'm opening and closing, now the ribbons are a little bit long, so you may want to play with it a little bit, but he just opens and closes like that. Now we can come in and we can adhere our second side. So let's kind of tuck him out of the way. Let's get our glue on our second side. Now that we have all the ribbons and all the bows and all the everything, we can go ahead and adhere our second side. So he's nice and secure right there. I'm going to fold him over, and now it's a little bit full to start burnishing. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in there. So just go ahead and kind of carefully like get your bone folder and just kind of go ahead and burnish everything. So there we have it, you guys.
Super cute.
So let's go back. Thank you. So here.
I love that.
Thank you. And we always need a masculine card. And I'm telling you, I gave Bob a pop-up card. And so he's an engineer. So of course he loved the mechanics of it, right? He loved taking a look at it. But there is our card, just nice and beautiful, right? So, alrighty. So that is card number 1. And you get everything in the kit except for the stamped images. So you can either order the kit, you can order the PDF, or you can shop with me. You get it for free, or you can come to class, like many, many options. So I'll send an email and put a Facebook post with all that after. But this is number 1. And if you're on my team, you get the PDF free. So there's that guy. So let me clean house a little bit, particularly my hands. Goodness sakes, girls. Sure gets inky in this place. Alrighty. So now let me clean house and let me get the second card. And let me also check how we're doing on time. Alrighty, so the second card, girls, is actually very similar. And so I think I'm not going to take you through the 3-step again. I think I'm going to take you through the 2-step. So let me show you the 3-step for the second version of the card. But it's the exact same mechanics. Maybe I'll just do the insert. I won't decorate the whole outside. I'll do the insert cutting, and I will show you quickly how I did the belly band. So let's just do that kind of like fast motion. So this is the country country lane floral bouquet, I think. It's really pretty, and it's more than just for hearts. That's what I want to say. So you've got the outside, that's our sweet sorbet. You've got the inside. I'm going to show you just quickly again how we did that. You've got the outside, just a nice layer, and I've got all different patterns, so it's going to be whichever pattern that you get. I've got some extra things for decorating the gifts on the inside. And then this one has a tag on the front. So, so we're just gonna make a belly band and a tag instead. So quickly, let me talk you through the belly band. I've been doing all my belly bands at 9 3/4 by 1 1/4, and then I score it at 3. So I've just kind of decided that I've landed on that. I really like that size. So 9 3/4 by 1 1/4, score at 3. And then you only score on the one side. So then when you've got the whole thing built, that's when you're going to do your belly band. You're going to put this on the outside, and then you're going to come over here and you're gently going to fold, and you want to leave maybe 1/8 of an inch, and you're going to wrap it around, adhere in the front, pop, something on the front as just a little decorative element, pop your tag on, and there you go. So that's going to be the construction of the belly band. But let me repeat how you do the inside just really briefly. So you've got your insert, and the insert again is 8 1/4 by 5 1/4. So we took it in 1/4 inch, so it's not 8 1/2, it's 8 1/4. We took it in 1/4 inch that way, so it's 5 1/4, not 5 1/2. And we know that we want to have 1 1/4, and then 1, and then 3/4. So we're going to come here and we're going to go 1 1/4. We're going to add 1 inch. So now that's 2 1/4. We're going to add 3/4 of an inch. We're going to get to 3 inch. So we've made our little mark, our little mark, our little mark. If you want to, at this point, you could take a ruler, because this is going to be on the back anyway. You could take a ruler and then just draw a straight line that's going to be 1 1/4. So you could do 1 1/4, and then you could come here. You could take a ruler and just say, all right, that's going to be 1 inch. And then you could come here and just say, okay, that's going to be 3/4. And so visually, that can kind of help you as well as you're doing it. Even if you're not exactly like perfectly straight, this is all going to go on the back, and it's just serving as a guide for you to do your cutting. So I'm going to start at my 1 1/4. So my cutting track is right here. So I'm going to get my line lined up, and I'm going to come down 1 1/4, and I can see from here that it's going to end up right there. So that kind of gives me a little eyeball. And then when I look on the right, I know you can't see it, but I can see it. I'm coming down to 1 1/4. Then I'm going to come over to this guide mark, and I'm going to come down 1 inch. And then I'm going to come over to this guide mark. I'm going to come down 3/4. And if you want to, you could erase, but it's going to go on the back, so you're really not going to see it. So bang, bang, bang. Now that's done. I'm going to make sure my hands are clean so I don't get ink everywhere. And I'm going to kind of just start to get my burnishing in, because I like to make sure I have a good fold everywhere. That's on the back. Now I know I want to come in, and I want to score, 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 score. So I'm going to use the small end, and it's just kind of a feeling thing. So I'm going to go where the end of the cut line is, and I'm just going to do a score. Takes a minute to like feel the groove. All right, there we got it. And then feel the groove. And then feel the groove. Got it. Then over here, same thing. Get to the end, feel the groove. Got it. Get to the end, feel the groove. Got it. Get to the end, feel the groove. Got it. And you're only, of course, scoring to the next line. You don't want to go any further than that. Now you're going to cut your designer series paper so that it fits. So you've got your different patterned paper, and you're going to pick the pattern combination that you like. And I think I'm going to put this at the bottom because I like the hearts and they're the biggest. I'm going to put this in the middle because my bow at the top is going to be petal pink. And I'm going to put this at the top just for interest. And then it's the same thing. I'm going to cut. This is 1 1/4. This is 2 1/2. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3/4. This is 1 1/2. So I'm going to cut, 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 glue, glue, glue. And then we're on our way. So let me pause. I know I went through that second one pretty quickly, but honestly, that's as quick as it goes. When it goes slower, that's what was, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just zip, like literally once you get going, it's going to go that quickly. But, and if you make a little boo-boo, it's just paper, right? Just grab another little one and carry on. Any questions? But because I'm going to show another, a completely different 2-step. So any questions on the 3-step before I go to the 2-step?
Nope.
All righty.
I like that card.
I like that card too. I asked Bob, so I didn't give him this one. I gave him one that had a heart that popped out. But I asked him about this present one, and I said, if you got a card that had a stack of presents in the card, would you expect to get a present? And he's like, well, I think I kind of would. I said, well, what if it came in the mail? And he said, well, maybe not in that case, but if you're going to give a card with a stack of presents, maybe we want to put a present with it too.
Very cute.
I know. All right, you guys. Now we're going to pivot and we're going to do, so last month we did the single version of this, right? So this is Cheerful Basket. Again, same thing. I'm using this country floral bouquet. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty, and it works for birthdays, works for anything, right? So last month we did the single, and by single I mean we just had one little thing right there. Now we're going to do a double. And so we're going to do this one today. We're not going to color. This is actually hand colored, and maybe I'll do, a coloring video another day. We're not going to color. I just kind of stamped them and die cut them. I used the apples instead. But this is what I mean by 2. So where this is 1, where we've just got the basket, now we're going to take it up a notch, and we're going to add the kitty and the basket. So let's go ahead and get started on making this construction. And let's just look at this one for a second before we get started. This one, you can see it comes out a little bit further. So this cut line is going to be longer than this cut line. It's a little bit narrower because Kitty's a little bit narrower. And it can go a little closer to the edge because Kitty's a little bit thinner. So he can go to the edge. This guy really needs the main width of the real estate here. So I'm telling you all this because you can follow my measurements exactly if you have my stamps and dies exactly. But let's say you want to use something different. You can adjust this absolutely. So let me show you how to make this one. And just bear in mind, I think I did for you guys on Zoom last time. I think I did show you if you, let's say I put a tall vase of flowers over here on this guy, and he was already way out front. Then when I shut it, it's going to kind of come out of the edge, and we don't want that, right? So there's a lot to go into thinking about how you're going to place it. But I've done it for you for Cheerful Basket, so let's get to it. Now I told you that I just stamped and die cut, and honestly I love Cheerful Basket for exactly that reason. You can stamp and die cut, you can stamp in color, or you can die cut and kind of build layers, build layers, build layers. So we're just going to do, because we're focused on learning the fun fold, we're just going to kind of have this version today. But here we've got the apples. Isn't that really cute? So all right, so here's the card, and again, you may get a different piece in the front, but you're going to get a piece. Basically, the fronts, I often keep them very, very simple. So you're going to get this tag, you're going to get some form of designer series paper, and we're going to be working with twine today. That's going to be the front. Super simple, Simon. The hearts and the designer paper does all the work. So now, Same thing on the inside. We're going to do the same. We're going to do 8 1/4 by 5 1/4. We're going to score at 4 1/8. And now we've got our piece that we can work with. So here's the mechanics that I came up with. And again, I'll have a PDF for you. I'm going to talk you through it. The intention is that you watch me do it, read the PDF, try it on your own. And so here is what I want to share about this guide. Now, I know it's a lot of measurements. It's like, holy cow, that's a lot of inches and measurements going on. Let me show you the prototype first. So we want about 3/4 inches from the edge to the first cut line. And then we want this cut line to be about 3/4 inches. And we're okay having it come out about 1.5 inches. And then we want this guy to come out 1 inch, and we want the cut to be about 1 inch. That's what it took a few iterations. It took some trying, it took some playing, but that's what I came up with. So you're going to get that nicely in the PDF, but that's where we're headed. And by the way, that technique book, if you want to follow along with it, this would be a great thing to pop into the technique book as a prototype, right? So, we know we're going to come out 3/4 inch. We know we're going to go down 1.5 inch, and we know we're going to go out 3/4 inch there, etc. So what I did is I actually wanted the pencil marks on the back, so I turned it over. So I'm doing it in reverse. I'm doing all the pencil marks on the back so that you can cut everything so you don't have to erase it all. So Kitty's going to go over here. Apples are going to go over here. And if you're going to follow along exactly, it's fine. I am giving you the PDF. And now if you get a kit from me, I can't do these die cuts for you. I can't stamp them and die cut them for you. So I'm really sad about that. I just can't. So try to find a little something. If you're not here, try to find a little something that'll work. Or maybe you'll play around enough and you'll figure out, oh my gosh, I can adjust and I can figure this out and do it for the pieces I do have. But it's going to be the same exact thing. I'm going to use my scoreboard as a guide. I'm going to use these instructions, and I'm going to get my pencil. So I'm going to go 1 inch to 2 inches. So you guys were doing it in reverse, but what we're doing is, I told you we want to go out 1 inch. So we're doing that inch right there, and we're making that, we want to go out that inch right there, and we're making that 1 inch right there, and we want to go 1 inch long. So I'm going to go out 1 inch, and actually I have 1 inch line over here too. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. I'll come in with my ruler later, but I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and just say, okay, there's my inch. That's what I got. Now I want Kitty Cat to come in. I want to do him 3 5/8. I want Kitty Cat to come in 3/4 inch, and I actually nudged him over just a teeny little bit more. So I'm going to do Kitty Cat at 3 5/8, 4 3/8. So now that's 3/4 inch between, and I'm going to come down. I'm going to come down for Kitty Cat 1.5 inches. So I'm going to go down for Kitty Cat to right here, give or take right about right there. Again, this is all on the back, so that's why I'm reversing it. You could do it straightforward and you could erase it. I've absolutely done that too. So now I'm just going to come in and make sure that I'm 1 inch down. And this is really just for my eyeballs to kind of have kind of a second guess as I'm doing it anyway. Now I'm going to go 1.5 inches. And I'm going to go 1.5 inches. So when I'm going to cut right there. Now, yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to line it up right there. I'm going to come down an inch. Now this guy, honestly, you're not going to see him because he's going to be covered up by Kitty Cat and he's going to be covered up by Basket. So if you're not exactly, like if you make a little mistake or whatever, you're not going to see this one as prominently as you would have with the gifts. All right, let me focus. I'm going to come down 1.5 inches. And I'm going to come down 1.5 inches. This one, the main thing you want to make sure, like if you go a little bit too wide, it's probably okay, except maybe Kitty Cat's tail is going to show behind or whatever. But anyway, so now that's it. I've done my marks and now I can open it up and voila, I have my shapes. So I'm going to kind of come in and, oh, I got to do my little scores. And it's really important to do the scores. If you don't intentionally score, you're going to get some funky, if you don't intentionally score, it's going to score for you and it's not going to score straight and it's not going to be pretty. So you want to tell it where you want it to go versus letting it figure it out itself. Get in a groove, go there, get in a groove, go there. All right, now we've got it. Now we don't need to, this is actually easier in some ways because we don't need to decorate and cut and be precise and all of that, right? All of that's going to be hidden. So now I'm going to come in and fold it a little bit. I'm going to come in and fold it a little bit. Come over here, fold it a little bit. Come over here, fold it a little bit. Now I'm going to go over. Now, one thing I will say, I have done it where I've like done a really solid burnish like that. And then I kind of got some score marks on here. So I actually want to come in and I would rather like kind of score it here on the inside. I would just kind of rather like work it that way on the inside and then work it on the outside. Because when I just did a big like burnish like that, I actually got marks on the paper that I didn't want to get marks on the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish like that. And now let's have a look. You guys, those are our pieces. And so, oh, actually, no, the pencil is in the wrong place. How did that happen? Pencil is in the wrong place. Well, you know what? We're going to have Kitty on the other side. I want Kitty where there's no pencil marks. All right. I've got pencil on the back. So now, you guys, Kitty can go here. I guess I got a little dyslexic doing that. I thought I was being so smart putting the pencil marks on the back. Okay, Kitty can go here. And then Basket can go here. So that's how it's going to be. Now you can see there might be, when I glue Kitty, he's going to have, depending where you place him, he could have like a little bit of the behind showing. So it's an opportunity for decoration, or you could actually go in and cut around it if you wanted, if you really didn't want to see that. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I am going to get this glued inside on the one side. So I've got everything all like glued up. I'm not gluing where any of the fold marks are, of course. And I'm going to tuck that in. I do have my pencil marks on the back, which I want. I guess I got dyslexic. All right, so now the one side is down. And I know I said this last month, I want to say it again. I had somebody last month in person, like they didn't put the inserts all the way but up to the inside. Like they deliberately like pulled it out so that it would have like be as close to the lip on the outside and it was far away from the middle. You really want the insert to be as close to the inside edge. You really want that as snug as you possibly can. So this looks really, really nice. You want it as snug as you can. You don't want it any further away. If you have a gap, it's not going to know what to do. It's going to pull in there. So, so perfect. So now, if you want to do any stamping, if you want to do any decorating, I just had like a nice little strip right there just for a little bit of interest. And of course, you want to have it. You might need to trim some things when I give them to you. Use your trimmer if you want, but I think I gave a strip that was a little bit longer. But go ahead and I just wanted a nice little strip for decoration. So I'm going to put that right there. I just like a nice decorated and lined inside. And I love, now this is the country gingham and it all the same colors match and it's just beautiful. It's this sweet sorbet and I've been waiting for this sorbet to make an appearance. So, well, oh, I know why, you guys. Oh my gosh. I really am dyslexic. Okay, depending which way you put the card, it's going to be on the left or be on the right. Okay, that just hurt my head so hard. Anyway, I knew it would work. I tried it and it worked. I hope I didn't confuse you guys. All right, so I put my kitty there. I guarantee you want all the mistakes. I made them. Okay, so I'm making sure his tail doesn't go outside and I'm making sure his head doesn't go beyond. Is that the sweetest face, by the way? Oh my goodness. Now this is the apples. I think I've shown you the hearts. There's apples. And then this set also has like little craft like scissors, and I've been kind of playing with that for some recognition for the team lately. I kind of colored all those in the in color, but anyway, you've got like 3 different things you could do. This is like an amazing, you can color these, you can stamp them on cardstock, you can build things out. There's actually a dies that you can really build out the basket. I mean, you can really have some fun with that. But anyway, we're going to use the apples. I did try coloring the apples with green. I tried a few different greens. It was a disaster. So we're just having apples with red leaves. But if you really wanted to do something, you could use a bleach pen, lift the color actually out of the cardstock, and then come back in and color it. We are not going to do that. But if you really wanted to, you could, or you could add some extra leaves, or I don't know, just it's opportunity to embellish. But so same thing, I'm going to go ahead and put that guy there. And now I'm going to put him at the base and I'm going to fold it over and I'm going to give a good glue right there. And then there we have it. So that's our inside of our sweet card. And that's a 1, and you do it straight in the middle. And I showed you guys how to do that. And now that's a 2. So you guys, that is it for our class today. So a number of things, and that's if you want to color these sweet little guys. So a number of things, you guys. If you just want to like have the video, then you've got it, and that's great. I'll get this loaded to YouTube. If you want to buy just the PDF, I will have the PDF available for sale. If you are on my team, you get this PDF for free. You could follow along. If you want to earn this kit, then it's free with a minimum purchase of $25. Just make a purchase with my host code and you can earn this kit. I can't stamp anything for you, but I'll give you all the elements, the PDFs, everything, the PDFs that go in the technique book, and the kind of step-by-step instruction with pictures. And if you want to buy just the kit, you can. And if you want to come in person, you can. So I know that was a lot, but I'm really here to serve. And I really love it when you guys learn. And I'm here to help you learn. And that's it. So let's go ahead and kind of close out. What do you guys think?
Cute as can be.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Aww, awesome.
Love them.
Awesome.